Hey, 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 everybody. It is the Celtic Rain Radio Show. I am so excited. You know why? Well, number one, I get to spend the time with you. But also, the guest I have on tonight, I have known her for quite a few years. I've watched her grow, like just grow up like a little blossoming flower. It's really kind of been cool because I used to sing with the Indianapolis Symphonic Gospel Choir, or I'm not saying that right. Indianapolis, oh, whatever. There's a big gospel choir, and we used to sing with the Indianapolis Philharmonic, and yeah, Indianapolis Symphonic Gospel Choir, and this beautiful person played percussion or does play percussion. I'm not sure. We will find out tonight if she still plays with the Indianapolis Philharmonic. But she played percussion with the Philharmonic when we performed with them. And so that was quite fun to watch her kind of grow and to meet her. She's now in doing jazz percussion and all sorts of different things. So we're going to get to know her tonight. I'm very excited about that. She is one of the ones that I've been wanting to get music from for quite a while. So it's very nice to actually finally get some music from her. If you are a small label or independent artist and you want to send me music, it has to be family friendly, which means just, no cursing, don't make fun of people, that kind of stuff. But you can send it to celticrain777@gmail.com. Very excited about that. You guys send it on in. We just got a bunch of music. So I'm very excited to be like, look at all these new people. It's so crazy. I know. So anyways, if you are not watching from YouTube, you can go to youtube.com/C for channel/Celtic Rain. And you can go ahead and like and subscribe. That way you know exactly when we're going to be on and we will have a great time together. Remember, you can be part of the show by making comments, and then please ask questions of the guests. Let's have a great time. It's just going to be one of those beautiful shows where we get to know a beautiful artist and listen to some amazing music. Well, we do have some amazing music coming up next. Our first set is Bridge to Nowhere by Victor Sierra, one of my favorites. And then we have Flower of Scotland by Celtic Rain. That's right. So then, as you know, during my song, I will always get on and just kind of, perform for you. And then we have Light of Dreams Part 3 by Brian Henke. Brian Henke is one of those people you kind of look at and you go, dude, fingers. You have like the most amazing. That's another thing. My husband's the same way. I'm just like, how do you make all those things come out of these right here? So needless to say, it's going to be amazing music, and we are going to listen to this beautiful stuff. Are you ready to hear some great music? All right. Well, you know how you do it. All you got to do is get on and listen. Here we go.
Bridge to nowhere. Steam is weak. Rested wheels moving a dramatic squeak. Calling lightweight stations, heading for an unknown destination. On the bridge
It almost needs a ding at the end. Vroom, ding. Samuel would put the ding. He's a ding kind of guy. That's why I think there should be a ding at the end. Anyways, Brian Hinkey, he's so crazy awesome. So I did ask a question. I'm just gonna put that one out there. I asked, what is the most obscure instrument you have ever played or seen in person? So you don't necessarily have to have played one, just seen one, right? Well, David East, our beautiful friend David East, said, I played a tuba in grad school. Okay. So I worked at a music store in Greenville, South Carolina, and I sold band and orchestra instruments, and the tuba was so big. Because I was literally like a size 2, because I had just like graduated from college, and I was like this tiny little thing, and I'm sitting inside this tuba, and I'm totally consumed by this huge humongous tuba. It was really, really kind of funny. I also wanted to show you guys something. Look at my earrings. I know, they're flamingos. Like our friend. I know. I have a thing for flamingos, people. I'm just going to put that out there. That way you know exactly what to get me on my birthday. Just going to put that out there. But we have an amazing, amazing artist coming up next. And I am so stupid excited. So you guys, I hope I didn't say her name wrong is the problem. Giaunna. Giaunna. She's just gonna tell me how to say this. This is exactly what's gonna happen. I'm just saying. So tell me, how do you say your name, beautiful?
You were there. It's Gianna. You were close.
So close, so close. That's really awesome. So I have known you. What age did I actually meet you at?
I would assume maybe I was. So if that was at least 4 or 5 years ago, right? So
It might have been more like 6 years ago.
so I was like 23. Cuz I'm about to be I turn 29 in July.
So just a baby. Just a baby. I'm telling you. So yeah. So what is your musical background? How did you start in music, and where did it go from there?
Oh, the question. Okay. The inevitable question. Okay, so my first introduction to, I guess, physical music, like meaning physically playing instruments, not so much listening, because when you're a kid, your parents play music, you hear, music everywhere, but my physical introduction to music was when I was in elementary school. It was, as far back as I remember, I was in first grade, and I did first grade twice. That's another story for another day, but I had a teacher, my music teacher was Mr. L, and believe it or not, when I was in middle school, or elementary school, that was like the very early 2000s. My teacher, believe it or not, was black, and I didn't think of it until I got older. But a lot of people talk about how they don't have, black teachers until they're older in life, maybe like high school or higher education. But one of my favorite teachers growing up was all my music teachers were my favorite because I love music. But yeah, his name was Mr. L, and he actually came to my my undergrad senior recital. That was really, really fun to see him. But basically, I started in elementary school, doing what you do. You sing, you play the drums, you dance, and you do like a lot of like plays and musicals, and that's kind of where it started, the genesis of what would be eventually, if you want to kind of skip ahead to middle school. I actually started on clarinet, was my first instrument. But even before that, when I was in elementary school, when I was really young, I would say I was like 6 or 7, I actually took private piano lessons, and I did not like it. I wish I took it a little more serious now, but then I was in middle school, I played clarinet, and I eventually switched to saxophone. And another kind of small caveat little story is I wanted to play percussion. That was what I wanted to do. Like I was a little sixth grader, well fifth grader at the time, about to go into sixth grade. I went to Harcourt Elementary. I still live down the street from it. Now it's Willow Lake, but I wanted to do percussion. I was like, I want to do that, and I pointed to like a what would now I would know as a timpani, and I was like, I want to do that, and I literally saw it. I'm like, I want to do that, and they're like, no, 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 you should play something over here. Now, two things that I kind of, now that I'm older, I thought of. I was like, one, it was probably because I was a girl, is why they wouldn't let me. And then two, I realized what it was, looking back, was I was really bad. My behavior was not good. So they used my behavior as a way to not let me do what I wanted to do, which was percussion. And so basically they stuck me on clarinet. Don't get me wrong, I was great. I was really good at it. I learned it and I got bored with it. And then I eventually went over to saxophone because that was the next cool thing. And saxophone was cool. I mean, who doesn't want to play saxophone? So I learned saxophone and I did that. And then I got so annoyed and tired with it that I ended up teaching myself percussion. And by the time I was a freshman in high school, I was first chair percussion in concert band. So I know that sounds not right, but I went from being told you cannot do this because your behavior to freshman year of high school, first chair in my band. So, you know.
I think a lot of times, especially, yes, I think part of it was definitely that you were a girl, and they're like, why does she want to bang on things? That's a boy's thing, which is so stupid, by the way, because I play drums. Thank you very much. But it's, and a lot of times also they're like, oh yeah, don't. And you were saying, you just didn't, you weren't good. You were being kind of bad as a kid because kids. Well, they have their bad moments, and but no kid is a bad kid, and so it's like, okay, if you gave them an outlet, if you gave them something to bang on, then maybe they would put all of that energy into actually going towards that instead of being, doing the wrong thing.
Exactly, that's what I told my, and then now, like, hindsight, now looking at all the, like, I'm not saying like the new advanced technology or the new studies, but looking at how children, and I have a degree in music education, and I took all the classes for the psychology, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. But looking at how children are, how they work, how they operate, children need to move, children need to dance, children need to do kinesthetic activities. So who would have known? Maybe me doing that would have been what would have set me to not have such a rough, I don't want to say rest of my childhood, but I got bullied a lot, and I don't know if it's because I had an outlet or I didn't have a creative outlet. So I got bullied a lot for being kind of weird, and who would have known? Maybe if I had that opportunity to do what I wanted to do, I think my trajectory in life, even to where I stand before you, or I guess I sit before you on this computer, now about to be 29 years old, I promise my life would be different if I just had that one thing that I wanted to do. Like, I've gotten everything else in my life that I pretty much have wanted, like, whether it be buying a new symbol or whether it be trying a new food or going to a new place, but that one thing I still think about to this day was that guy. And I don't know who he was. I don't blame him because it probably wasn't his issue. But to this day, I think about that decision of them saying, no, you cannot do this because of your behavior. I can only imagine how different my life would be at this point if maybe he just said, oh, sure, you want to do percussion? There. But no, I just feel like but everything happens for a reason. So obviously I'm here where I am now for a specific reason, but at the same time I always think, what would life be like if he just said sure, and just that was it, percussion on the list and send in the next student. But
Yeah. I think as well, or they could have even used it as a tool. They could have said, hey, you want to do percussion? Great. Show me, you got 2 months. Show me in these 2 months that you and earned that percussion spot, and then watched your behavior and said, okay, we want you to do percussion. Great. Let's see what you can do with this for 2 months. And now I'm going to watch you. And in 2 months, we're going to give you that spot if you earn that.
Yes, because I think about, because there are stuff to this day that I don't want to say struggle, but things that I have to think about when it comes to what I'm playing, because I just think where I was when I was in high school going into my undergrad, which was the fall of 2013, I think about so many things that I still did not know if I had just started when I wanted to, which was in middle school. Like, there were still things that I was learning getting my undergrad degree that the other kids I was studying with at UND just knew, because it was just, it was percussionisms, for lack of a better word. Like, make sure that when you're not playing the vibes, that you make sure the pedal's down because the bars won't ring, and just little, like, things to know, like, how to put something down without it making noise, or little tips and tricks. But here, and like, I was learning, but I was still kind of learning the bigger picture things, which are like, musicality, technique, rep, but I also was still learning these little kind of like fundamental foundation type aspects of percussion. So I really think, now I don't want to say I was cheated. It was just, I feel like I said, I would have been at such a different level if I had just started where everybody else was, because people were here and I was here. Then I had to play catch up to get there. Then I started kind of inching to where they were, but they were still studying too. So they were kind of doing this and I was kind of doing this, and I just feel like, and obviously I got to a point where it was fine, but I just like think that if it, like I just said, those, I know it's only 3 years, but those 3 years could have been a world of difference if I had had the training and the support to do what I really wanted to do.
Absolutely. And that those are your formative years. Those are the years that really affect that. So you took that though, and to your credit, I actually got a degree in theology and got my master's in theology. And when I graduated, they gave me an award for persistence, basically being stubborn. And so, because I was like always at the teachers, I want to know, help me get through this. And it always took me like one more year than it should have, according to, everybody's rules. But I think then you went on to college, and you went on and went on what you've been talking about it a little bit. What is your college background? Tell us about that a little bit.
So I went to UND, the University of Indianapolis. I was there from 2013 to 2017, and I studied primarily with Paul Burns, who was in the ISO for a number of years. Everybody knows him, the guy with the bushy ponytail. He was in that group. I don't know how long he was in the orchestra. I would say close to 40, 45 years. He retired and he lives in Florida with his wife. But I just recently saw him. He came to my Chatterbox gig. That was a really cool full circle moment. But I studied with him. My degree is in music education, but there's also a performance aspect to it. It doesn't have it on the degree, but I do have a classical percussion performance degree. So I have the full spectrum of percussion, like everything. So like obviously now what I mainly do is what you see me doing is like drum set, a lot of percussion in this group that I'm in, the Klezmets, a klezmer band, but I have the full percussion knowledge. So all, like anything orchestral percussion, I know. I've played it, I've done it. Anything I don't even know. There's so many instruments out now, but like some of the weirder ones when I was kind of in school were things like lion's roars and sirens and whistles, all types of bells, alarms, all that really strange stuff. And then like, because I was educated through the classical canon. So when I was in getting my undergrad degree, it was, very, Beethoven, Ravel, Stravinsky, Tchaikovsky, and don't get me started on like the 20th century composers, because that's when percussion really started to, do this thing. That's when, the Milhauts and the Bartoks, that's when they really started to use percussion as an instrument in the orchestra rather than just a note of emphasis. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I'm a vocalist, but thank you. And but I have played Celtic drum and tom drum together, and I look like a one man band. It's freaking hilarious. But it enough for enough years to know, and then thrown in all their little instruments to know that it's like, okay, you've got all these collaborations, and as a musician, you'll find, especially as you get older as a musician, you'll find that you'll be like, oh, this is an interesting instrument to pick up. Oh, this is an interesting instrument to pick up. And as a percussionist, there's so many different instruments to pick up. It's amazing. And so for 20th, 21st century artists who are writing music, there's so much more to pull from, so many different avenues they can go. And it's like all of the different things that the classical artists had, all these rules and stuff, that's not there anymore, really, because they've completely taken that and been like, let's just have fun with it.
Yeah, I think of, because especially since, I guess it's kind of a way to segue. So I just got my master's in jazz studies from the University of Iowa. I primarily studied there with Jim Dreyer, who just retired. He went to Berkeley, studied with Alan Dawson, who's one of the kind of grandfathers of jazz drum set education in America. And what's interesting about learning jazz in, I guess, the art form of what people call jazz is what it is. And I might get a lot of pushback and a lot of, weird looks from this, but in Branford Marsalis, Wynton Marsalis's brother, said this himself. He said, all jazz did and what jazz has done for America is make the swing beat and specific instrument makeups through improvisation. So people, not that I'm saying jazz isn't this big, it's not important, it's just like he said, all jazz has done is put specific instrument groups together and the swing beat. So, you look at the traditional jazz band, look at the King Oliver Creole jazz band. Clarinet, banjo, sometimes a bass or a sousaphone, guitar, a guy that had a drum, a bass drum on the floor with a pedal and a snare drum on a chair and would play, with a cymbal on top. And I tell people that all the instruments that you see even in a traditional big band, it all comes from, it's all classical. I mean, look at the upright bass. That's a bass in the orchestra. Look at the trombone. That's a trombone in the orchestra. What it was the war. After the war, all the soldiers came back and dumped all their instruments. So there was cornets, there were drums, clarinets, look at, I'm basically giving you a master's degree in jazz knowledge in 5 minutes, but basically they took Negroes, the black slaves, the Negroes, took these instruments and put them together and formed these bands. That's why, we have the godfather of jazz, Louis Armstrong, was a trumpet player. I mean, the trumpet didn't just descend out of just some ethereal, place. It's from the marching bands of America. They're all instruments left over from the war. That's why the first drum set that ever existed was made by men in jazz bands. It was literally a snare drum turned to the side on a chair and a bass drum on the floor with a cymbal on top, and he would play the snare drum with the stick and do the cymbal like this. I mean, the drum set didn't just come out of some the ether of ethereal, instruments. It was made by these men. They said, well, we don't need, that guy on the snare drum and that guy on the bass drum and that guy on cymbals like in the marching band. You could just put them all together and do it at the same time, and that's how the drum set was born. And I did not know that until my first year of my master's degree, that the drum set was invented by jazz musicians in the 1910s. I did not know that. So this whole classical, thing, it's all jazz really is just an extension of classical music. I mean, people call jazz music black classical music. It's the classical music of black people, but classical has this connotation of European, I don't want to say European whiteness, but like this European, the symphony, the string quartet. And this is now my education classical degree speaking. Classical has this connotation of, the Beethovens and the Vivaldis, even though he's not classical, he's, later, but it has this connotation of, let's go to the symphony and hear the symphony play. But a lot of people call jazz, they don't call it jazz, they call it American folk music, which is that's what it is. It's African American folk music. I mean, descendants of Africans in America making music. That's what it is. But there's this whole, tug of war between classical and jazz, when in reality, they were born out of the same thing, like the harmony even in jazz. It's classical. I mean, all the chords, there are some upper extensions, sharp 11s. But, you do hear that later, like in, Debussy, people of that nature. So, like coming back to what Branford Marsalis said, jazz is really nothing new and inventive. It's just the instrument groups, the people that were playing it, and the swing beat. And when I say the swing beat, I mean, the ding, ding, da ding, ding, da ding, the sound cycle of the ride cymbal and the way that the players play. It's all, I don't want to say it's the same thing. It's just, there's only 12 notes in the scale, Now there are microtones and, blue tones and, that comes from the slave songs and the spirituals and, the field songs. But, we're still all basing written notation music off of 12 notes in a scale.
Absolutely. There was a group, and I can't even think of their name right now, but they used microtones in their recordings, and they would sing on these tiny little microtones. And but one really hilarious little thing, we had this. I worked at this church once, and this lady who was about 1,000 years old who played the organ, and for worship, and she would do this and then fall off the notes because, well, she's 1,000 years old. And so she'd do this. And I would always tell her, I said, don't worry, baby, you're just playing jazz organ. It'll be okay. As long as you come back to tonic, we're going to be okay. It'll be all right. And she's like, okay, thank you, Rebecca. Because I don't know. She should never have been driving herself to church because, good Lord, it was a little scary. But I would always tell her, don't worry, you're just playing jazz organ. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And sometimes it's just a matter of like, okay, let's have some fun with this. Let's do a little bit something different. Let's throw in those chords that you wouldn't necessarily normally always use in regular music, or classical music or whatever. Let's have some fun here and just really funk it up. But we are going to actually listen to a song of yours. I'm very excited about this. It's called Turkish Boza. So tell us about this song.
So this is one of the, I don't want to say first tunes I've written, but it's kind of in that earlier stage of me writing. So I didn't start writing music until, well, this is the first thing I've really written. So I guess I'm kind of lying. But when I was getting my master's, I was required to take advanced composition classes, and this is one of the tunes I wrote in that class. And basically what I did was I put two styles of music together that I really enjoy of the Latin spectrum of music. And when I say Latin, that's kind of a broad term because there are so many countries. But the areas of emphasis that I kind of highlighted in this song are like salsa, bossa nova out of Brazil. Not to be confused with samba, they're very similar, but they're kind of different. And just your typical kind of like mambo salsa meets bossa nova, things you should never put together, but I don't care, and I stuck them together because I can, and that's what I wanted to do.
And sometimes that's how you write music. You go, hey, supposedly these aren't supposed to go together, but they work really well in my head. So let's figure it out. Do you play any instruments on this recording?
So, yes, I'm playing the drum set on this one, and it's written by me. The other band members were my colleagues in Iowa. This was recorded at the University of Iowa at the School of Music, in a giant room, believe it or not, like really, really big, probably the size of like a modern, I would say, a church sanctuary, probably. And yeah, the sound guys, I don't know what they were doing, but they made it sound really splendiferous. So I have to give a shout out to Chris Jensen and James Edel at University of Iowa. That they were pretty much the guys that did the mixing, the mastering, and there were other people involved, like Katie did some mics and sound and barricades. So I really have to give it to them. They did all the hard stuff. I just showed up and played with my friends. So
that's the fun part, right? Just being like, hey, thanks. You're going to make us sound good. Well, I'm going to bring you back on for yours so you can kind of, be the star of the show during your song, and you can do some chair dancing with us a little bit later as well. But I'm gonna let you go for just a minute so I can announce the songs, and we'll see you in just a minute. Bye. Well, guys, isn't she adorable? I know. I have watched her grow, and it's been beautiful to watch, to be completely honest. So we're going to listen to Turkish Bossa. I said that wrong. And then we're going to listen to With Angels by The Afflicted. And then we're going to listen to 2-inch short. So 2 inches short by Mary Run. Some really, really great music coming your way. I cannot wait for you to hear this amazing music. Are you guys ready? All right, here we go.
call. You were gone, couldn't believe it at all. How did it happen? It took my breath away. I couldn't speak or have a word to say. We've enjoyed where there's no pain. We've enjoyed where there's no fear. We've enjoyed, now you saw I could play. We've enjoyed, we've enjoyed where there's no pain. We've enjoyed where there's no fear. We've enjoyed, now you saw I could play. We've enjoyed, but I wish you were here. All I could do that night was cry, wondering what happened and why. A big part of my crazy life, yes you were. I didn't think you'd be gone, it's a blur. We've enjoyed where there's no pain. We've enjoyed where there's no fear. We've enjoyed, now you saw I could play. We've enjoyed, we've enjoyed where there's no pain. We've enjoyed where there's no fear. We've enjoyed, now you saw I could play. We've enjoyed, but I wish you were here. I sit here thinking about your hopes and dreams. Once you will never see, doesn't seem fair it seems. You won't see them come true, it crushes me too. Inside I'll live for you, yeah, inside I'll live for you. For you, for you, for you. We've enjoyed with the end. We've enjoyed where there's no fear. We've enjoyed, now you saw I could play. We've enjoyed, we've enjoyed with the end. We've enjoyed where there's no fear. We've enjoyed, now you saw I could play. We've enjoyed, but I wish you were here.
A simple race, the perfect pace. You're in the chase, but you're 2 inches short. A red stitch ball and a pass call. The curtain calls, but you're 2 inches short. 2 inches short. 2 inches short. 2 inches short, and that's your fault. Another hill, another bill. Oh man, I killed not to be 2 inches short. A little putt, I missed the cut. You better duck, now you're 2 inches short. Just a little bit further. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit further. Just a little bit just a little bit further. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit further. Just a little bit more.
So that was 2 inch short by Mary Run. I think Kaylee Rain is a little bit more than 2 inches. She's probably more like 1, 2. She's probably like 4 inches. She's got 2 whole inches on this song. I'm just saying. So also, if you want to send music, always send it to celticrain777@gmail.com. That's where you can send your stuff. And then, as you can see, I play all genres of music as long as it is family friendly, meaning no cursing, don't be mean, and it's from a small label or independent artist. That's how I roll, baby. That's how I roll. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. We're gonna have a little bit more music, and then we are going to speak to our beautiful guest of the evening. We're so excited about that. I have a cat rampaging through the room. So if you hear things crashing, it's because my cat is destroying my whole house right now while I do this show. That's right, because she knows I can't get up because I'm talking to you. And she's like, yes, I get to destroy the house. And I'm like, crap. So that is my cat rampaging. That is Morgana. You remember the tiny little beautiful kitten that was so sweet? She's not sweet anymore. She's in her teenage stage of life. And if you know anything about teenagers, that's all I have to say. So she'll grow out of it hopefully soon, and our house will still be standing. Yay! But I did have some comments on my questions. You know, I've been putting questions up here. You guys, I put questions up here so you guys can answer them, so you can be on the show. So my first question was, what is the most obscure instrument you have ever played or seen in person? And David replied, remember that? The same replied as well. And SCA guy at Clayshire had a viole. It's a medieval violin-like instrument, and he let me play it. Yes, so anything with strings, Samuel's like, give me. So, you know, it is what it is for those finger guys. So, needless to say, yes, he got to play it. If you don't know what Clayshire is, Clayshire Castle Medieval Fair, we play there every year. It's always on the last Saturday and full Saturday and Sunday of the month. Come and see us. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. But I did ask another question. I am not. Who is your favorite singer and why? I'm just kidding. No one should say Rebecca. No one like my husband. But I do actually have a question for our guest a little bit later. So next, after these 3 songs, we're gonna get to talk to her again. So I'm very, very excited about that. I know. So, but again, if you want to send music, send it to CelticRain777 at gmail.com. We are going to hear again Until the End by Moonshine Jasmine. This is a new group, guys. I'm so excited. And then we're going to listen to A Fond Kiss by Celtic Rain. So Samuel took, Robert Burns wrote a beautiful poem called A Fond Kiss, and Samuel put it to music. And me and Samuel are playing on it. Say, thank you, Thank you, Kaylee Rain. And then we're going to listen to Friends Like These by Vanity Kills. Very, very fun stuff. You guys ready for some amazing music? I know I am. All right, guys, here we go. That's not the right picture, but she will forgive me later. Okay, so I think I played the wrong one. So let me make sure that I do this right now, because this is what live means. Okay, sometimes I hit the wrong thing. So here we go. You guys ready? Here we go.
You're a little bit crazy. Let me live on the wild side. Well, I've lost my mind, baby, but you're my kind of guy. I wanna get stuck in traffic and hit every light with you. Don't feel bad, baby, I love the things you do. You're my lover, you're my friend, and no matter what we do, it's still the end. Let's get in trouble tonight. Maybe run across the tracks. With all this wrong feels oh so right. I guess we gotta cover our backs. I wanna get stuck in traffic and hit every line with you. Don't feel bad, baby, I love the things you do. You're my lover, you're my friend, and no matter what we do, it's till the end. What if we started a band and jammed on my guitar? A holiday
sever. A farewell, and then forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee, warring sighs and groans I'll wage thee.
Had we never loved so kindly, had we never loved so blindly, never met or never parted, we had never been broken hearted.
I'll ne'er blame my partial fancy, Nathan could resist my Nancy, but to see her was to love her, love but her and love forever.
Fare thee well, thou fairest and fairest. Fare thee well, thou best and dearest. Thine be ilka joy and treasure, ease and enjoyment, love and pleasure. If one kiss
And then we sever, a farewell, alas forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee, warring sighs and groans.
I'll wait thee. such a great sound. I don't know. Okay. All right. So I love all. Somebody said, "What is the genre of music you love the most?" And I'm like, I like them all so much. Don't make me choose between my children. This is not nice. Just gonna say, right? Um, I like everything. But I would love. Okay, so Evanescence is like I don't know. I have a thing for Evanescence. It's just the way it is. All right, just leave me alone. And like it's like my heartbeat. So like I would love to put my music with like that industrial beat. Would that not be the best thing in the whole freaking world? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And then I could wear corsets on stage. Well, I always wear corsets on stage, but still, whatever. Doesn't matter. Whatever. So, but we have our beautiful person back. I'm just saying. So, there we go. I'm like going on. My diatribe is going on and on. So, how are you? How was chair dancing?
I really like that last. It does kind of have like a Evanescence-ish kind of vibe. I am a really big Evanescence fan myself. Yeah, Amy Lee is like really talented. Like she's really like she has like a couple, if I'm not mistaken, I think 1 or 2 solo piano albums where she's just playing piano and singing, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's like freaking amazing. I think it's hilarious because people don't realize like, oh, they do this genre of music. I bet you money it's like us. We play 1,000 different genres of music because guess what? That's what helps us make money. So, you play on whatever pays you, but at the same time, it's very enjoyable to not just do one type of music for the rest of your life,
Yeah, my colleagues and I really had a lot of conversations about that when we were getting our degrees. My colleague Jonathan, if he's watching, Jonathan Eldridge II, he's actually the pianist on my record. All the piano you hear on the record is him. We constantly, and the bass player too, Jacob Pembleton, always talked about how if we just had to play jazz for the rest of our lives, we would be miserable. Like, yes, we do it. Can we do it? Yes. Do we want to do it all the time? No. I mean, imagine if you were limited to one genre for the rest of your life. I mean, I would be miserable. I would not, do I want to play, some funk? Do I want to play some pop? Do I want to play metal? Do I want to play jazz? Do I want to do other things? Yes, but, I mean, if I had to do jazz for the rest of my life, I would not be happy. And I know that might be, she means she doesn't love jazz. No, I do. It just, I don't want to do it for the rest of my life all the time. I don't know,
Yeah, no, it's really funny to me because people are like, "Oh, what genre do you play?" I'm like, "Do I have to pick?" Yeah, all of them. Anything I can get my voice around, really, to be completely honest. But there actually was a question from Samuel. So this is from my husband, who is also hilariously heady and beautiful. But Samuel said, he said, so what are some different approaches you have to consider when playing with a jazz combo versus the orchestra? Oh, what a great question.
Let's see. I haven't actually had to think about this. I think when I play, obviously the number one thing that is the same but different, I think the biggest aspect for doing both is listening. You listen when you play both styles of music, but it's the way you listen. So if I'm in a combo, which is typically 3 to 4 people, I'm listening to what everybody is doing. I'm listening am I locked in with the bass player? I try to always play with the bass player, and I try to always play with the pianist because my heart is set in the piano trio of jazz, which is Bill Evans, Oscar Peterson, all those guys. That's what I kind of have attached myself to. So I like to do a lot of piano, bass, and drums. I listen to the bass player. Am I locked in with the bass player? How's the pianist comping? How can I comp to, complement his comping? But also, if there's a sax player or a trumpet player or a vocalist, how can I support them while still, being with the rest of the band and not sticking out, but also being, my own voice. Because in a combo like that, you're all kind of on your own. Nobody's doing what you're doing. So, like, a pianist is comping, a bass player is, playing, the bass line, and the drummer is keeping time, and everybody's responsibilities are as equal. As opposed to when I approach an orchestra, because I do still play in orchestras. I still, from time to time, play with the fill. And I do sub a lot in some of the really talented youth orchestras around here. I still listen, but it's, am I blending with the flutes, or am I louder than the trumpets, or am I matching the trumpets? It's more of, what is your part like in the orchestra? So if I'm playing a line and I'm playing xylophone, and am I matching the same articulation? Am I matching the style? Am I matching the dynamics and the accents of whoever I'm matching with? Or I need to watch the conductor. Am I loud enough? Or do I need to come down? It's always watching. You have to watch your music, but also kind of have your eye on the conductor, because you can be playing your part perfect, but if you look up and the conductor's stick is going 15 BPM faster than you're playing, you may be right where you're standing, but to him or her out there, you're wrong. So it's listening, watching and listening. That's mainly my big differences in the groups I'm playing, is I'm always listening. I always have what people say, get your head on a swivel. I keep my ears on a swivel. I'm like, okay, am I matching who I'm supposed to be matching? Am I too loud? Am I soft? Am I with the conductor? As opposed to in a combo, it's, well, how can I complement what's going on in the group? Because, you're all there doing totally different things. So you kind of all have to complement each other. And I guess that's a roundabout way of me saying, just listen. Listening is the big differences, I think. That's just one basic but large approach when I approach different styles and genres of music that I play.
I think it's the same for vocalists, to be completely honest. At least for me, when I'm singing with a big choir, like, the gospel choir, and I'm singing with the Philharmonic, and I'm out there, and it, I have a huge voice, so I have to be prepared. Okay, who's next to me? Am I blowing them away? Am I not? Are you? Am I? If I'm soloing, am I quiet at the right times or loud at the right times? But if I'm playing with a band and we're in the middle of like a bar, you're number one, you kind of just tune out the people that are saying whatever around you, because you are where you are in that band, in that bar. But at the same time, you're with this band and you can mesh with them, or you can stick out like a sore thumb. You can be with them and actually make brilliant music that makes you guys, no matter who's around, no matter who is listening, makes you kind of cry inside and go, yes, that was it. No matter what. Or, you can be like, yeah, that was good. Obviously the guitar was out of tune, or I definitely was singing faster than I should have, or I was playing the Celtic drum at a certain beat, but everybody else was not even with me. That's happened before. or you have one person who's like, oh, I don't know if I can play it as fast as we're going, and so they slow down. And I don't know if you have to deal with this, but as a Celtic drummer, you're doing a certain beat, and then they slow down, and you have to like go to them, because if not, it's gonna be like horrible. Like it's gonna sound so bad. And so then the vocalist comes in and they start going faster, and then you go to them and kind of try to keep that. That has happened more times than I like to admit. And as a Celtic drummer, you kind of sit back and you go, all right, I know I'm doing this as a hand drum, but guys, I might actually kill you later.
Yeah, I've been in all types of professional and non-professional, not non-professional, but I mean, like, I guess not non-professional, but more on the lines of like concert in a venue, curtains versus like, a bar club where something just goes completely left field, and you just kind of have to, you go with it. And what's interesting is, as a drummer, I listen, and I try to see and hear where everybody's at. So if because I'm only playing sounds of drums, so I can do what I'm doing, but I'll hear that the bass player went on to the section that was next, but the vocalist didn't, and then the guitar player is repeating the section that the vocalist is doing even though they weren't supposed to do it, and I can kind of hear a general here's or do one of these, meaning like the top of the head, like of the form, or say B section, or shout a chord that is a distinctive chord of a certain section. I don't want to say I have the power, but I have come to a point in my career where something can be going completely just all different directions, and I can hear what people are doing, and instead of letting it crash and burn, I can kind of tell somebody what to do, and then that person will do it, and then the other person can hear where they're at, and then we can all kind of come back together. But that doesn't always happen that way. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's just one of those things where not that they're bad musicians, but good musicians can hear something like that and get right where everybody else is, if you get what I mean.
I think it's not even a good musician. I think it's a seasoned musician, someone who's had the time to learn how to do that. Because you can be an amazing musician on your own right, and then you get with other people and you're like, dude, this is crazy. This is just insane. We do actually have a question for you, and this is kind of a funny question. Are you related to the Nevilles of New Orleans?
I don't know. None of the names look familiar, but what's funny about that, you say New Orleans, I actually was just there last summer, and I was looking for some Neville stuff, and I didn't see any Neville anything when I was down there, so funny that you bring that up, but as far as I know, I'm not, I assume.
That's some funny stuff. Actually, so I have one more question, and then we're going to listen to one of your songs, and I want to ask you about the song as well. But when you're writing, what is your writing style? Like, how do you go about it? Do you get really quiet and alone, or is it more something like you have to get out into everything, or what is your process? That I love asking this question because there's so many answers.
Well, I guess I can answer this I kind of have to answer it in a primitive and naive way because I'm still very new. Like the music we've been listening to, like the first song that we heard by me, is interesting because this is like the first time I've ever written music and it's my record. So now that I'm kind of into writing and I've been writing a little bit more here and there, I kind of go in moods and in and out of moods. I actually, believe it or not, I'm a night owl. I don't know if anybody's like a birth sign person, but I'm a Cancer. My birthday is July 2nd, and I'm such a night owl. Like I can like do all type of stuff all day, but I feel like between the hours of like 11 and 2 a.m., my brain creative juices really get to going, and I'll be in my living room in my house like sitting at the piano like punching out ideas, and that's where a lot of my writing happens now, is really late at night when everybody's asleep and I'm up in the living room on the piano just punching out little ideas. And that's pretty much, I'm alone, or sometimes my cat comes up and tries to act like she's writing too, but that's where I am, is alone in the living room real quietly just kind of doing one of these. And that's pretty much how my album was written too, very late at night in my apartment.
Well, we're going to listen to the song Eli Eli Tanza, so tell us about that one.
This song I actually didn't write. This is very traditional. This is important because I just recently joined a klezmer group, and this is some of the more traditional kind of like music. I actually looked it up before we got to this song, but Ailey is, I believe, a song. Now I lost it because this is what happens when you're on live. Arabic taunts. So it's Ailey and Arabic taunts. And what we did was he took them and put them together to make one big kind of like medley of like kind of more popular klezmer dance tunes. But Arabic taunts just means Arabic dance, and Ailey is a song, I believe, about like, I think it's a marriage thing or something like that, because a lot of the music in the klezmer tradition is very based in the weddings and the like church going aspect of Judaism. And so now I lost it. I had it pulled up on my phone and now I lost it. Maybe I can come back after we listen to it with the information about what it means, but for right now, I play the drums and percussion on this recording of the group, the Klezmits, that I'm in.
That is really awesome. Yes, absolutely. When we come back, we'll have you back one more time. So I want to make sure that we definitely talk about that. But you're going to do a little bit of chair dancing with us, and we're going to play your song. You'll be right back, everybody. So I didn't say it right. I know. So it's not Eli, it's Ailey Tanza. So, and then we have Worlds of a Child by Ginger Ackley. So awesome. And then we have Good Cocaine by Robots. It's not Robots and Magic Powers. It's actually Robots in Love. I was wrong. So needless to say, we're going to listen to some amazing music. And then we're going to have our guests back. It's amazing. I know. So you guys ready for this beautiful music? Okay. Here we go.
Show Sometimes the smallest voice is the one that must be heard. Sometimes the smallest hands make the things that will endure. Sometimes we need the eyes that can see right through the guile. Sometimes we need to listen to the words of a child. Looking out my window on a hot and dusty day, I hope that when the sun goes down I can go outside and play. My teacher says we can do some things to help our world stay cool, so I'll be working very hard with all my friends at school. Sometimes the smallest voice is the one that must be heard. Sometimes the smallest hands make the things that will endure. Sometimes we need the eyes that can see right through the guile. Sometimes we need to listen to the words of a child. There's not a lot of money in this neighborhood, they say, but we've collected cans and things and we've turned them in for pay. And working with the grown-ups' help, you see what we have made. Now we have a place that's safe to play in every day. Sometimes the smallest voice is the one that must be heard. Sometimes the smallest hands make the things that will endure. Sometimes we need the eyes that can see right through the guile. Sometimes we need to listen to the words of a child. Far behind me I can see the place that I called home, but then the waters got too high and now we have to roam. Last night I wrote a letter to the folks that make the laws and asked them please to help us out with Mother Nature's cause. Sometimes the smallest voice is the one that must be heard. Sometimes the smallest hands make the things that will endure. Sometimes we need the eyes that can see right through the guile. Sometimes we need to listen to the words of a child. My daddy is so far away, he's in another land. Mom said he has to fight a war, but I don't understand why countries cannot get along like kids are taught to do. Let's join our hands and work for peace and to our world be true. Sometimes the smallest voice is the one that must be heard. Sometimes the smallest hands make the things that will endure. Sometimes we need the eyes that can see right through the guile. Sometimes we need to listen to the words of a child. Take a look around you and really see the world. Give a thought to what will be for every boy and girl. Oh, will they play in sunshine? Will they have clean air? Will they live with peace peace and joy and beauty everywhere. Sometimes the smallest voice is the one that must be heard. Sometimes the smallest hands make the things that will endure. Sometimes we need the eyes that can see right through the guile. Sometimes we need to listen to the words of a child.
So yeah, there you go. Some absolutely beautiful music. And now we have on one of our I just have to say I'm enjoying having our beautiful guest on with us. So, you guys ready? Okay. Here we go. Here she's back. How you doing, gorgeous?
I am good. Can you? I'm having like some delays. I feel like I'm.
You're doing good with us, so don't worry about that. You just have a great time with us, and the program has a way of fixing things, which is quite nice. So don't worry about it at all, okay? So, yeah, so what I want to know right now is so you have all this, you just got done with your grad school, you're back now, you're performing. Number 1, where can we find your music? Number 2, where can we see you perform? Like, that's what we need to know. We need to know that.
So right now, my record, my single and my record are streaming on all streaming platforms. You can find them on my YouTube, on my YouTube, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, everywhere you can stream. Just type in my name. And if you type in the title of my record, Giaunna, and then Motherland, it'll pop right up. And right now, I currently have the last Sunday at the box, the Chatterbox. It's actually my last Sunday this month, so I'll be there whenever the last Sunday of this month is. I don't want to say the wrong date. It'll be the 26th. Where I'm there from 8 to 10:30, and I play at this place called Chili Water. There's two. There's one on Virginia in Fountain Square, and there's one on Boulevard, 42nd and Boulevard, around the corner from Butler. That's the one I play at. The one on 42nd and Boulevard every Thursday from 6 to 9. There's really good beer, and they have hoagies and Philly-style cheesesteak sandwiches. We play there 6 to 9. I'm actually subbing right now for a good friend of mine. He had a work conflict, so for like I guess the summer I'll be playing there, so I'll be there, and I update my Instagram, which is right there, with gigs that I get. Sometimes I get notified of a gig the day of, sometimes I find out the night before, and sometimes I get them a little out in advance, so that's nice, so I can post about it and push that. And I post a lot on my Facebook and Instagram. I upgrade those daily, so if you check out those, you'll pretty much see where I'll be.
So for all of you that aren't seeing this, you're just hearing this, that's going to be www.facebook.com/GIAUNA.NEVILLE. And then if you want to get her on Instagram, you can go to www.instagram.com/GIAUNAS. Jazz, Jazz. That way you can find her. Make sure that you go and follow her and find her, support her by buying her music, and by going and seeing live music. Now we can go and see live music, people. It's time to go see live music. Good Lord. Especially here in the Indianapolis area, it's thriving now, so there's some beautiful things going on. Make sure you hit her up and see exactly where she is, and make sure you follow her for sure.
Yep, that's pretty much what I do. And I actually just found out today, like hot off the press, I got hired at Rhythm Discovery Center downtown doing some stuff for them. So if you are in the area of downtown, starting next week, I will be working in there doing like tours and drum circles and organizing there. So if you're familiar with Rhythm, it's the only interactive drum museum in the country. I just found out literally like 4 hours today that I got the job, so I'll be there. So if you're in the area, come and check out Rhythm. It's a really fun place.
That is a really, really cool place. I used to take Tyson there all the time. Actually, we do have a comment from Samuel. Cool place where you play, where you're going to be playing. Tyson and I like sandwiches at the place next to the Chili Water in the Butler neighborhood. So you guys, dude, Butler Turkington neighborhood in Indianapolis, that's like the place to be, plus downtown. And that's where we are, I'm telling you. So we do have one more song that we're going to hear from you, and I would like to hear about it. It's actually called Motherland, which is the title of your album. So tell us a little bit about that.
So when I originally was putting together ideas for this album, I wanted it to be everything that either descends from, is directly from, or inspired by rhythms and styles of jazz or the African diaspora of music. So a lot of what this is it's kind of like a fusion again, kind of like how Turkish Bossa was, of different types of Latin music. What I wanted to do with Motherland in 3 was take traditional African rhythms and sounds and put it with jazz, which is kind of like the American African rhythm kind of together, and make like this kind of, two worlds coming together that are so far apart, but they're really not, because Africa is across an ocean, but the influence of African rhythms and the sounds and the harmonies are very rich in jazz, but jazz is kind of like an American classical art form of that. So what I wanted to do was put them together in a way. I guess you can call me a fusion artist. I mean, I'm not like a Chick Corea or nothing, but I guess I'm kind of what you want to call like a fusion, kind of new meets tradition meets new, old meets new kind of person, and that's kind of what I was going for with this.
Absolutely. It's going to be beautiful to listen to. Well, we've got that and we've got some more beautiful music. So we're going to have you back to dance a little bit more. And then we're going to say good night. So, you guys, we do have Motherland in 3. And then we have I've Just Seen a Face by the Selkie girls from Long Time Traveling. It's some I got some new Celtic music for you guys. I'm really stupid excited about this. And then we have the I'm never going to say this right, so I'm just going to show it to you. Bentley Family Feet by Bentley. And then we have Salt and Tears by Hem Netjer. So it's going to be some really, really great music. I cannot wait until you get to hear this. Are you guys ready? Our last set. Here we go, guys. Here we go.
seen a face, I can't forget the time or place where we first met. He's just the guy for me, and I want all the world to see we've met. Had it been another day, I might have looked the other way, and I'd have never been aware. And as it is, I'll dream of him tonight. Falling, yes I am falling, and he keeps calling me back again. Other guys were never quite like this. Falling, yes I am falling, and he keeps calling me back again. Where we first met, he's just the guy for me, and I want all the world to see we've met. Falling, yes I am falling, and he keeps calling me back again. I can't forget the time or place where we first met. He's just the guy for me, and I want all the world to see we've met.
I got family first, and if anyone in family hurts, somebody takes a nap in the dirt. That's how this family works. That's how this family works. I got family first, and if anyone in family hurts, somebody takes a nap in the dirt. That's how this family works. Yeah, that's how this family works. My family. Only people who can handle me, only ones I'll be standing with for the better and the worse. It's a blessing and a curse, but trust these words. Whoever trying to hurt, gon' sleep in the dirt. This is for my brothers and my sisters. We trendy like we hipsters, rewrite history. Toast to it tipsy, smoking on the family tree. Wanna hit this, living in the moment, can't relive it. I'm black and white, but my DNA worldwide, and I won't hide. I would rather die than not walk with pride. no disguise, this is me in real life. I got family first, and if anyone in family hurts, somebody takes a nap in the dirt. That's how this family works. That's how this family works. I got family first,
family first.
and if anyone in family hurts, somebody takes a nap in the dirt. That's how this family works. Yeah, that's how this family works.
My brothers like my mama kids. My sisters like my siblings. Through thick and thin, call that resilience. These circumstances produce some geniuses. Not a given but gifted. Love not business. Bloodline from the continent where the pyramids is. West African griots, musicians way before radios. Inherit generational wealth, traditions and the knowledge of self. Pass it down to the crop of my seed. We all we got for the family we bleed, and we all know it. Pray we know how to show it. You already know this. Pray that we know how to show it.
I got family first, and if anyone in family hurts, somebody takes a nap in the dirt. That's how this family works. That's how this family works. I got family first, and if anyone in family hurts, somebody takes a nap in the dirt. That's how this family works. Yeah, that's how this family works. I ain't judging no one else, but I'm proud of who I am. My heritage ain't plain. A Viking with Nigerian hair, and ain't afraid to show it in any damn way. Any damn way. When I was little, it was different. Man, it used to be no picnic. We had no lights, ended up evicted. Bed bugs and roaches in the kitchen. I could've got addicted to the same shit that got my brother convicted. I'm gifted, like my pops was still blacklisted.
Dude, there's something about throat singing that just makes me happy inside. I'm just saying. I do want to apologize. I had to cut the other song short. I listen. So when you guys send me music, I listen to like the first. Okay, I cannot listen to every single song all the way through because that's a lot of freaking music, people. So I listen to the first couple minutes and I'm like, okay, great, great. Yeah, there's nothing. And sometimes, like, the third verse through, there's like all this cursing. So again, I would like to reiterate, guys, if you're going to send me music, no cursing. Thank you. Make a radio ready version, people. Yes, you can do it all you want in your concerts, but dude, make a radio ready version. That way I can be able to send it to the radios that are syndicating this and they can play it. Because that's another thing. That's one of the biggest reasons. Number one. Number two, dude, I want children to be able to listen to this music and be able to say, that's some crazy awesome stuff right there. And so, yeah. So again, if you want to send music to me, that's awesome. CelticRain777 @gmail.com. But please make it family friendly. No cursing, no making fun of people, no making fun of religions. Just be nice, And, there you go. But I do want to say thank you so much for being here. And I'm just so grateful you were here. Thank you so much.
I enjoyed this. I don't get to ever do this, so this is really fun.
Well, you should do this more often because you're not that bad at it at all. You're pretty good at this. So, there you go. And plus, it's like your witching hour. So right now you should you're so inspired. You go write music.
I really should. I mean, if you really want to be honest, I should. But I'm actually about to go to the mousetrap to catch the end of the mayor's ball.
Now, that's some stuff right there. Well, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, again, you can send music to CelticRain777 @gmail.com. Make sure it's family friendly. It is from a small label or independent artist. If you are not watching from YouTube, you can watch at youtube.com/C for channel /Celtic Rain, like rain out of the sky. And then if you are not watching from there, you can always just like and subscribe, right? And then you'll know exactly when we're going to be on. We thank you so much for being here. This is the Celtic Rain Radio Show, and we say thank you and good night and bye.